Sometimes grapes are sour. What you could not have achieved in your place when you have crime, which is as high as a skyscraper, and the streets are flooded with the homeless or the addicts who are there, and there's all the crime that's happening. It's hard to accept that a city that just came out of nowhere has got such a good record out there. I always tell people, do one thing. Come to Dubai. I'll pay for your trip. Spend a week with us here. And then you tell me how you feel about it.
You get a lot of comments asking you to sponsor.
So I'm looking at the social well-being. I'm looking at education, quality of life, health and safety, business environment. So we are looking at all of this when we are trying to build that corporation or city of the future. The mistake a lot of people make is they look at real estate as an industry and then say it's going crazy. No, this is part of the infrastructure for the Dubai economic agenda and all the future agendas. So it's part of that. You probably, when I remember growing up, I used to read the science fiction novels by a guy called Isaac Asimov. And we visualized and saw all these flying cars. Then Star Trek came in as movies. Then the Star Wars came in, and we began to see all these futuristic movies. The first city, I believe, which is giving the world a taste of that future is Dubai. Singapore as a country is 734 square kilometers. Beautiful country. 22% of that country's size is just our industrial zone next to the airport. How does your city respond? How does your government respond? How do the people respond? And one of the reasons why Dubai has been able to do this well is because you will see that there is a strong bond between the leadership and the people of the city. The Dubai South is going to be the next level of lifestyle that is going to be coming up, not because it's in the South. It just happened to be in the South. That's why it is called Dubai South. Every city in the world has got one downtown. Just one downtown. That's it. Toronto has one downtown. Yeah, Mumbai has got just one downtown. Dubai will have three.
Welcome back to another episode of Shireen's podcast, UAE Brews and Views. I'm your host, Shireen Kapoor, and today with me, I have a very special guest. Actually, I was waiting for him since a long time. From his busy schedule, he was able to take out some time, and I'm very thankful to him for that. I want to today tell that, there's a lot of information on the internet about Dubai and UAE being a very good place to move. A lot of millionaires are moving. But who is backing up with data is somebody you want to hear him. I have interacted with him as much as I've interacted with him behind the cameras. I would love to say he definitely means business. Today I have with me Dr. Anand Menon, who's one of the most influential Indians also awarded here in the UAE. If you hear him, you will know he talks numbers, he talks data, and especially he has a psychological effect on people like me also. So thank you, Dr. Anand, for taking out time, and thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me, Shireen.
Yeah. So before we start into all the information in terms of Dubai, UAE, everything that we have on our platter today, but just a bit background about yourself.
All right. Okay. Academically, now a PhD in psychology. Started with hotel management, actually. Professionally, I worked with the hotels and then moved into Emirates Airlines. Spent 10 years developing a training system for the catering teams at the airport and looked after that for 10 years. Then got headhunted, moved into Damac Properties. My first 3 years in real estate was with Hussain Sajwani and his team. And I would have to give him the credit. They were my biggest learning years when it came to real estate and how to enter markets and how to be a visionary. Emirates obviously taught me a lot about vision because they were an incredibly visionary company as well. Then I got into my own business. And when I did that, literally the whole market opened up. So I started to work with all the top 40 developers, the top 65 agencies. All of them started working with me. Did some work along with some government agencies as well. So that's where I reached. But eventually, I think what really took over was the passion for the city of Dubai. wanted to be an ambassador, and I absolutely believe every one of us needs to be an ambassador for Dubai. There's no excuses for anyone not to be that. So I realized that this was a huge gap in the market, and there was this the knowledge that was really required so that buyers and sellers could come in confidently was missing. If they had to get it, it was their responsibility. There were very few brokers, very few responsible relationship managers who would actually take the pain and the effort to learn it and present it in the correct way. Most of them just capitalized on the brand Dubai and they were closing the deals, but without really contributing. So this is where there was this huge gap, and I took it as just as a personal responsibility that let me educate the city of Dubai. Let me help the boys and girls to have the information. It's still their responsibility whether they use it or they don't use it. But I said, okay, let me put the information out there. Let me help interpret what's really happening. Let's position Dubai against the rest of the world, because people are coming in based with frames of reference, which is the cities and countries they work in. Those are their frames that they use. And you can't blame them. That's the only thing they understand. They don't understand Dubai, which is 6,000 or even 14,000 kilometers away. I cannot expect someone sitting in Toronto to understand Dubai when all he has seen is Toronto or Northern America. It becomes our responsibility to become ambassadors for our city, to show people why Dubai is actually working its magic right now. And so that was a space which I attempted to fill. And that's the reason why I have been doing what I'm doing.
And you've been doing that beautifully.
Thank you.
So you've been here for about how many years now?
32 years.
32 years. So you've been a veteran.
This is home.
Yeah, this is home for you. And over the period of these 32 years, how you have seen Dubai as a city growing, being engineered, because you call it as an engineered city more than an organic city.
Correct.
So how you have come across UAE?
From a tiny Arab state which had a dream to one of the best cities in the world. It took Singapore 61 years to do it. London has spent 2,000 years doing the same thing. They're on that journey, did a great job. Paris 1,800 years, New York 430 years, Toronto 290 years. Dubai did it in 25 years.
Yes.
So now, we are obviously 53 years old as a country, but the Dubai that people know is started from the year 2000. But it was the vision. And I've always believed in this. When Sheikh Mohammed actually stood up, he echoed the vision of his father, but he was going to bring it to life. But for him, when he stood up and actually said he will build the best city in the world, he talked about building castles on water and all of that, the world literally laughed at him. Nobody took him seriously. They ignored him. But that is exactly what helped him, because he grew in the shade. Today, he's unstoppable. We have a city today that's become a role model and a case study for the emerging economies and cities of the future. And we love that because we want everybody to do well. We don't compete, we collaborate, unlike the cities of the past. So for me, what I have actually seen evolve, I've seen a vision that became reality. I always like to use Sheikh Mohammed's quote where he said, the future belongs to those who can imagine it, who can design it, and who can execute it. It isn't something that you await, it is something that you create. And that is exactly what Dubai did. We visualized what we wanted in the future as a city, as a lifestyle, as a place of opportunity. We visualized ruling the world literally on every aspect, every front on life, every bit of infrastructure that was. We visualized it. This is the good thing. Yeah. Dubai is not an accident. Dubai did not happen because others collapsed. Dubai happened because it had a clear plan. There was a clear vision from the leader. He surrounded himself by people who only thought that same way. Their hearts were beating for the city. And everything that we put in place came through the form of plans. Clear strategy. We even have the Dubai Centennial Plan, which is 2071. That is 44 years into the future. Or 46 years into the future. So we've got plans for 46 years in the future. So this is no accident. This is not capitalizing on what is happening in the world at a particular point. This is a clear engineered growth of a city, which is why I say we are engineered, we're not organic. Yes. We are holding the future in our hands because we have imagined it, we have designed it, and we are executing it. Yeah. This is not what you wait for. You create it.
True. That's why I think Dubai, what it's doing, it's picking the best of everything and trying to implement, or maybe the loopholes of other countries and trying to figure that out in its own model. And when it comes to sense of security, because I come from Canada, and when I hear people talk about that, I'm like, when you have not visited or you have not been to a place, you cannot really comment on it, because UAE does give you a sense of security, even as an expat, even as a foreigner, because in Dubai, as we know, 200 nationalities are working. So do you also get this question asked a lot about getting the sense of security?
All the time, not just on security, on several other factors. And there are many reasons people do it. And we understand that in Dubai today.
Yeah.
We have to take a caring and an understanding position or approach with people. You see, when people operate, there could be several reasons. We look really at the intent behind the statements or the questions more than the question itself. Because if intent is not right, then you are asking it not for the right reasons. You see,
True.
Sometimes grapes are sour. What you could not have achieved in your place when you have crime which is as high as a skyscraper, and the streets are flooded with the homeless or the addicts who are there,
Yes.
and there's all the the crime
Nonsense.
that's happening.
So
It's hard to accept that a city that just came out of nowhere has got such a good record out there.
True.
So sometimes grapes could be sour. When your economies are in ruins, and we have one of the most stable economies in the world, we're number one now. According to the US News and World Reports, we're number one as the most stable economy. We have dethroned Switzerland, which is a cash-rich economy. So we got to that position. That's a hard pill sometimes to swallow. The one that you ignored is now gone way ahead of you. So sometimes that could be the reason. So we get it. The second can also be simply frames of reference. All of us as humans can only relate to something that we know of, something that we have experienced, or something that we have seen.
Yes.
So if I have never got onto a plane and gone 14,000 kilometers to this city, my only frame of reference is what I have seen, which is what is around me and what is local or regional. And my frames are historical, which is a second problem. So I'm using my past experiences and I'm trying to fit the city of the future into my past experiences. Not going to happen. So that's a second problem. The
Yeah.
third problem is these frames are subconscious. So I'm not even aware that I'm constantly judging against what I know from my past, and I'm not aware I'm doing that. So we understand that today. That's why, as ambassadors for the city, I think all of us should help people to open their minds, reframe their thinking. So I get where they are coming from, but at the same time, our job is not to be offended or upset when we hear these type of questions, because we know the reality. We just give them the reality. The same person from Toronto or from New York, if he were to ask any of his friends who have lived in Dubai for 3 years, he'll get a very, very different picture. So that is the reason why I always tell people, do one thing, come to Dubai. I'll pay for your trip. Spend a week with us here. And then you tell me how you feel
You'll
about
get a lot of comments asking you to sponsor the trip.
Yeah, but the reality is people are talking about something that they haven't experienced. So I get it. Because usually when someone makes a statement like that, I always tell them, well, I'm glad you brought that up. Where exactly did you get that from? Or what's your credible source of information from that? Well, everybody's been talking about it. I said, that's gossip. What's your credible source of information on it?
Yes.
Because when we talk about Dubai, when we position Dubai, be it a Singapore, be it a New York or a London, we will talk with credible information from international reports, because I think we have to be fair to all those cities as well. We cannot just simply sit there and discount a city without having done the research, working with international credible sources, because I cannot quote a Dubai source and sit here and present Dubai. That's Dubai selling itself.
Yes.
But if I take a Knight Frank report, I take a Henley and Partner report, or I take a Savills Prime Residential Index, the Mori Memorial Foundation from Japan, you take their report, the Global Power City Index, these are global reports. There's the UBS Bubble Real Estate Index report, right? When we look at these reports, people cannot argue you, because that report is monitoring 25 cities. The GEM Global Entrepreneur Monitor report is looking at 59 cities.
Yeah.
So when we are looking at these reports, then what you're saying makes sense, because you speak with authority from a place of understanding, and by being fair to London, New York, Sydney, Tokyo, Singapore, Beijing, Mumbai, and Dubai.
Yeah.
So that's always been my approach. But yes, the questions are there. Never had a problem answering them.
Yeah,
so
of
far.
course. Not with the kind of database you have, of course. So interestingly, some few days back, I happened to visit Dubai Court. And there is a preamble in Dubai Court. And the third point is that we are a business city. It's so interesting, and I've never seen this before in all the jurisdictions, that a city itself is saying that we are a business city and we are supposed to respect the business ethics and practices in the city, and everybody needs to take that into accommodation. So of course Dubai is very ease of doing business is there. In your experience, coming from all the background that you have, how is Dubai as a business city to do business for anybody starting new, starting afresh in the city, moving here, wants to bring in the business here? According to you, what is the roadmap and how easy it is?
Okay. Firstly, I would say that we are not the first city to do this. Look at Singapore. They did an amazing job of it. They actually were very engineered as a city, but this was many years ago. Today, it's not being run the same way. But they started the same way. Hong Kong did the same way. I mean, they have a CEO heading the city officially as a title. Yeah. So it is true that Dubai is being built on a business model. But when you look at a business first, let's understand a business, then we'll understand the Dubai model. If I want to build a world-class company, I cannot only be considering the money and the product that I will be making. I have to look at the well-being of my people. I have to look at welfare. I have to look at future opportunity. I have to look at equal treatment. I have to look at safety. So I have to look at multiple facets before I can genuinely say I have built a company of the future or a company that is genuinely world-class. So I think that concept we need to understand. When we talk of Dubai as a business city, or we are built like a corporation, we are not built like that only for the money and the business model. We are built on a complete composite model. Simple example. We have the Dubai Economic Agenda, the D33, yes, which is looking at the economics of the business. Yeah, but we also have the Dubai Social Agenda, D33. Yeah. Sheikh Mohammed was very clear. I don't build just for business. Then what will happen to a family if they need to come here? We now have the Education Agenda, the E33. So we've got that. We have the Quality of Life Strategy 2033. We have the Real Estate Strategy 2033. We have the Dubai Urban Master Plan 2040. So all of these plans is where I'm looking at the wellness of my corporation, if you want to call it that. Yes. So I'm looking at the social well-being. I'm looking at education, quality of life, health and safety, business environment. So we are looking at all of this when we are trying to build that corporation or city of the future. Now, coming specifically to business, one of the things which I love about Dubai is our vision is to be the best in the world in everything we do. Now, what does that really mean? It's not just saying we are number one. It means in everything that we do, the intent is to be the best in that particular thing. So if we're talking business, we want the best ecosystem for business in the world. If you're talking a taxation structure to come in because governments need funding, we want the best taxation structure in the world. If you're talking about lifestyle, we want the best quality lifestyle. You're building an airport, we want the best airport in the world. So you see, this wanting to be the best at what you do is coming into anything and everything that we do. So as an entrepreneur, if you're looking to come in here, what you can be assured of is you are coming into a business ecosystem that is one of the best in the world and is going towards becoming number one. So you will come to one of the most friendliest, transparent, one of the fastest and efficient eco-business systems in the world. This is the government that believes in you and believes in our business model. The transparency, we don't have red tapeism here. We don't have under the table. We have the best. We compete against the best because today people can choose London, they can choose Singapore, they can choose Miami. They're not obligated to choose Dubai. We understand that. So why would a person come to Dubai unless we are able to make it more attractive than the other cities? So in everything that we do, this is what we think about. So a startup business today will find the most friendliest environment on the planet in Dubai for them to come in. Let's look at one report which I would love those who are listening to this podcast to go into it in detail. It's the Global Entrepreneurship Monitor Report, GEM, G-E-M. The 2024-25 report is out. And now for fourth year running, Dubai is the number one city in the world for business. There's 13 different criteria. Firstly, what the report does is it breaks up the world into three categories of cities. Category A, which is level 1 cities, Category B, level 2, and Category C. Category A cities are cities which have got a per capita income of $50,000 or more per person. So they are the level 1, the best. Level 2 or category B is between $25,000 to $50,000 a year, and level C is below $25,000 a year. We are coming in the category A countries today. So when you look there, you'll see the Germany, France, you'll see Europe, basically London, you will see the US, many of the cities. So they're all in that category, and we are there. There are a few other Gulf countries also that are coming in there. Qatar is in there. Saudi Arabia has also come in there. So we know that today, firstly, when someone wants to choose us, you're choosing a level A economy. Now, we built that system. There's 13 criteria. On that 13 criteria, we have ranked number 1 in 11 criteria. But overall, we are the number 1 city globally for business startups. So today when you come into Dubai, you will actually find that we have everything in place to help you to set up. For you to transition is easy. We are friendly on our visa systems. We are friendly on financial models. We are friendly on the costs involved to set up your business. Our startup packages, the free zones, are some of the cheapest in the world. We have that. We have access to good manpower because we now have a 70% increase in our population projected till 2033. We are now at 3.9. We'll go to 6 million and 7.8 million in 2040, which means when you come in here, one more thing which is important for you, for your business, probably in the future, is good resources, manpower.
Yes.
We are attracting some of the best manpower on the planet in terms of education, skill, and the intellect. So we're bringing them in here. So when you come to set up your company here, not only are you getting a very friendly ecosystem, you probably will get a chance at getting some of the best talent on the planet as well. Some of our visas are now engineered towards bringing the best talent in the world. All of this is long-term as a strategy. Look at the the education agenda, the E33. This is not just about becoming one of the top 10 student cities in the world, which is one of the goals of that agenda. It's about creating thinking economies. Thinking is going to be the new currency going forward. We want to engage the ability and the vision and the thinking of people. It's not just about getting a degree. You can get that anywhere on the planet. You'll get that in Dubai also. But we want to bring thought power, knowledge power into our cities, which is why some of the biggest exchange programs on students, biggest conferences on education will all now start to happen in Dubai South, part of the E33 agenda. So we are not just building money as capital. We're not just building infrastructure as capital. We are building a knowledge economy. Now, I don't find many cities even thinking about something like that, because that is where your real future is. The core strength of any organization, any leader, any city is the quality of the thinking of their people. And that is driven by good quality education and exposure. So that's what we're doing. If you had to come in here today and had to build your systems, we have some of the best logistic channels in the world.
Sure.
So as a business owner, that is important for me. We have one of the most friendliest cities to live in. We are not biased to anyone. We are religiously tolerant. We want the best quality of life for everybody. We want the best healthcare. Now, these are also important to an entrepreneur because I have to move there with my family. So firstly, my own family's health matters. Yes. Quality of life matters. Then I have to bring in people who will work in my company. And if I want to attract the talent from, say, in Australia, I want to bring them from Singapore, I want to bring them from the US, I have to be able to match at least, if not exceed, what they can get where they are. Otherwise, there is no reason or motive for them to move. So if you are an entrepreneur today, I'm telling you that we are ticking every box on the economic agenda as well as the social agenda to help you attract the quality of manpower and the resources that you need, because we've got the networks. The biggest airport in the world is with us. Fourth busiest port in the world is with us. The biggest logistics corridor is coming up for us in Dubai South. Everything is in place. We are now one of the most forward countries on communication, technology, tokenization, Bitcoin. We have the world's first digital assets oasis, free zone in Ras Al Khaimah. It's the first on the planet which has come up. So in everything that we are doing, we are future focused because we are designing the future. Now for you, you have two options. You can live in a city where they're not designing the future anymore. They're probably firefighting just to survive. Or you can choose to come and become part of the future, which is what we are building here. I'll just add one last thing, because I think I've said a lot on this question. Last year, there was a video that was released to promote Dubai. Idris Elba, the Hollywood actor, was in it.
Okay.
And it showed a man who had so many ideas but frustrated because everywhere he went, either the bureaucracy or the red tapeism wouldn't allow it, or the traditional ways of doing business didn't make sense. It was frowned upon. People just were not even willing to listen. And then this person is told, when it's impossible, bring it to Dubai. Bring your impossible to Dubai. You know what I really loved about that video? There was a message in it. When what you're thinking about is normal, keep it where you are. We don't want the normal. If it is impossible, bring your impossible to Dubai. This is what we are. We are a city that thrives on the impossible. We have already shown in our legacy that what seemed impossible has been done. You don't build palms in the ocean. No one's ever done something like that. We're now building an air-conditioned city in the desert. We're doing things that people can only shake their head and wonder, how do you even come up with these ideas?
Yeah.
But what's even better is, how do you guys actually achieve these things?
Yeah.
So if you want to be in Dubai, we would love to have you with us. But don't bring your normal, bring your impossible.
True. Wow. That's so much of information. But that's all good. But just digesting all of that, because I was trying to focus on one question, then I went to another, then I went to another.
Yeah, that's what usually happens.
That's okay. That's also beautiful. And when you talk, I mean, actually, I'm traveling with you. I'm trying to visualize all of that, because when you tell people out there that flying taxis are going to be here in 2026 end or 2027 start, they don't believe, and they are like, wow, is that Dubai is all about? And then people come up with saying that it's very artificial and saying, boss, you have natural things. Then what is happening with nature? You live with nature, you earn with nature. No, you need an ecosystem where you can grow. So that's where I think that was one of my reasons to move here as well. And let's also highlight some of the points when it comes to diversification. Now, a lot of people think that it's only about real estate, construction, etc. Okay, UAE is doing all of that, but there's also so much of investment on tech. Right now, all the tech hubs, there's funds that you can, Dubai has so many funds that can help you grow your business. So yeah, if we could highlight some points related to economic diversification.
Okay. Let's address the first point you said, and then we'll get into the diversification. You see, when you are, according to the Dubai Economic Agenda, the D33, we're going to double our economy. We'll go from 14.6 trillion to 25.2 trillion in the next 9 years.
Yeah.
We are also doubling foreign direct investment to $650 billion. We are also opening 3 new business and logistics corridors to Southeast Asia, to Latin America, and to Africa. We are also adding 400 more cities into our business map, and we are having agreements with them. Now, when you are building all of that, when you're doubling your economy, how can you do that without your infrastructure proportionately growing? Another word for real estate is infrastructure. The mistake a lot of people make is they look at real estate as an industry and then say it's going crazy. No, this is part of the infrastructure for the Dubai Economic Agenda and all the future agendas. So it's part of that. So we are building for that. So when you look at the construction, look also at the economic agendas and the future of the city. We've also recognized today that if you want to be a global leader, then you have to be providing a rounded environment or ecosystem for people. And so we are looking at the traditional models, but we are also looking at the future models. Oil has never been with us. We have less than 2% of our economy. I'm talking only Dubai. Less than 2% is on oil. We recognize that in 25 years ago. Yeah. So we built an economy that wasn't going to be dependent on oil. Having said that, every city in the world is impacted if oil goes south, if there's a problem. But we are not as impacted as many others who are depending on a natural reserve. So we have diversified. We have gone into fintech. We have gone into just finances. We've gone into investments in warehouses and business parks. We have gone into education. We've gone into healthcare. We've gone into hospitality in a big way. Retail, we're aiming to be the 3rd most preferred retail destination in the world. We are going into exhibitions and global events. We're going into AI. We're going into blockchain technologies. So we're also going into ecosystems, sustainability. Part of what we want to do is to be able to give back to the planet. So there's so many different venues through which we are going into our developments. We are creating smart city concepts to give quality of life. cognitive cities are coming up in Dubai in the future. It's an unheard of concept anywhere else, but it's coming. Typically, when you think of technology, you would look to the Far East.
Yeah.
You would look at Japans and the Koreas, and you would think that they would be the first ones to come out with it. And they are very technologically advanced cities. But it's one thing to be tech savvy, and it is one thing to be tech in reality.
Yes.
We have taken a lot of that in real. You go to the cities of Japan, you'll be blown away by their technology. And same with South Korea. But today, as a city touching every aspect of life, we have gone into so much of diversification and technology. You will be growing limbs on your body in another 10 years' time. If you simply go to the frame and you watch the video about the future, we will actually be growing your body parts again, not just putting prosthetics or artificial limbs. That is our future. The flying cars, when you probably, when I remember growing up, I used to read the science fiction novels by a guy called Isaac Asimov.
Yeah.
And we visualized and saw all these flying cars. Then Star Trek came in as movies. Then the Star Wars came in. And we began to see all these futuristic movies. The first city, I believe, which is giving the world a taste of that future is Dubai. And you're seeing it. We took our flying taxis and put them in many of the major metros in the city just to get people to begin to understand who we are. We just don't talk. This is what we are delivering right now. So from that perspective, I think you are seeing diversification literally into any and everything. Manufacturing has been something where Dubai was not known for it. But now we are having, we were largely known for trading.
Yes.
But now we have manufacturing. We have in the Urban Master Plan 2040, we have 168 square kilometers earmarked in Dubai South just for industry and production. We never had that before. Let's look at that number and just put it into perspective. Singapore as a country is 734 square kilometers. Beautiful country. 22% of that country's size is just our industrial zone next to the airport. You add the airport to that, 70 square kilometers, that is 10% the size of Singapore as a city. So if we take our airport, the new one, the Maktoum International Airport, and we take the industrial zone next to that, we are 32% the size of Singapore as a country in just those two. So we are
huge potential.
We have the potential, we have the land, we have the space. Singapore, unfortunately, doesn't have the space. They're falling off the sides of the island. But we have the space. Dubai is 4,114 square kilometers. We've barely done 800 to 850 square kilometers. It's a long way to go. And don't forget, we're reclaiming from the oceans as well.
Yeah.
So I think the future is extremely bright. If one thing I can tell you, knowledge will continue to develop. New streams will come. New ecosystems will become the mandates for the future. One thing I can tell you for sure, if you simply look at the attitude and the approach of Dubai, and if you look at the last 24 years, whatever the future is going to talk about, we will be in that as early as possible. So I know for a fact, if you want to be somewhere on the planet and be part of the future, then it has to be Dubai. Look at how we handle COVID.
Yeah.
Look
beautiful.
at so many things. Look at how we came out of the recession that happened before and the way people hammered Dubai for it. But people forgot the fact in just 3 years after the recession, which wasn't created by us, by the way.
Yeah.
The Lehman Brothers crash in the US, and then it affected the whole world. But people will talk about Dubai like as if we did it. But they forget that 3 years later, we were the number 3 city in the world for real estate again. They don't look at that. Our bounce back was the fastest that you had. It took Singapore 5 years to bounce back. They were the first country, by the way, to announce the recession in 2008. So yes, it hurt us like everybody else. But don't just look at what happens. Look at what happens beyond that.
Yeah.
How does your city respond? How does your government respond? How do the people respond? And one of the reasons why Dubai has been able to do this well is because you will see that there is a strong bond between the leadership and the people of the city. There is no disconnect.
Yes.
You go to the UK, the people are not connected to their governments. They're not in Canada. They're not in the US. They're not in China. They're not in India. Singapore today, people are leaving in droves. They used to be like that. There was this huge connect between the people, and they became the best city in the world.
Yes.
And today you will see that connection, which is the reason why I keep saying every single one of us has to be an ambassador for Dubai. Who's going to understand the city unless we take it to them? That is your role and my role. You cannot come to a city like Dubai build your business here, make your money, enjoy this quality of life, and leave it to Sheikh Mohammed to take Dubai into the future. Every single one of us has to be an ambassador for Dubai.
True. True. And when it comes to the technological aspect of, especially now, how it's happening, how Dubai is funding and how Dubai is investing in the future in terms of technological startups also. Like we have DIFC Innovation Hub, we have so many platforms where you can start your startup. You also have a platform now. You're the ambassador of a disruptive property platform called Core. So yeah, I just want you to tell everybody about that side of Dubai as well, wherein we are doing this.
Okay. The future of the world is technology. Everything is going to run on technology. Okay. So Dubai is going to be at the forefront of that. So it's not just platforms coming in, it's the type of currencies that we are going to be operating with in the future.
Yeah.
It's how business gets done. It's all going to get onto blockchain. It's all going to be driven by AI. So everything for us in the future is going towards technology. Today, real estate is also getting into it in a very, very big way because we want to optimize our processes for efficiency, for speed, for transparency, but quick access for everyone on the planet. So there is a lot of this technology that is actually coming in. You're finding it in every front actually. Now, our hospitality is being driven through AI. We have our healthcare being driven through AI. If you're talking on startups for finance and business, today we are creating multiple startup platforms and government bodies to ensure it happens. One example, we have VARA, Virtual Asset Regulatory Authority.
One of the first.
Yes.
Yeah.
We set it up and it is headquartered in DIFC. So it's set up in a financial center because we have already seen a few years ago that the future of the world is technology, fintech, and is going to be blockchain and digital currencies. We already saw that, which is why we had VARA set up in Dubai and we had the digital asset oasis DAO in Fujairah set up. So we have now VARA. We also have the Dubai Future Foundation, which has been set up. The Dubai Future Foundation, their role is to actually create future policy for business and for the city, which will take into account tokenization, digital currencies, platforms. They're also going to be looking at what we call future labs. So robotics and all of this AI is coming in a big way. So that is part of the agenda. Museum of the Future is also from the Dubai Future Foundation, and it is where we welcome the world to come and see as to what you're going to expect going forward from here. They're coming up with something else which is very interesting. It's called Future Accelerators. Future Accelerators is the ability to use AI, blockchain, and other technology platforms to be able to predict the most effective responses for businesses, recessions, pandemics, natural calamities. So we don't want to just work with our natural resources and experience. We are going to use blockchain and AI to be able to predict when there is, say for example, a pandemic. It's not announced overnight. There are first starting indicators and then it reaches a point where it becomes that. Today with future accelerators through DFF, we are going to be looking at what would be the best possible responses a government and a city could take in any such situations. So technology is the way forward. This is exactly why today we are creating every possible opportunity, inviting people, giving them opportunities to even get visas going forward because of technology. And the other reason I think why we are getting so heavy on technology is we want the world to come to Dubai. You need to be able to reach everybody instantly. And that can only be achieved through technology today. So we are definitely moving into the future. Written language as we know it is disappearing by 2050. It's gone. You will not see one kid today who doesn't go to a school with a tab. This all mandated now. Everything is online. So there is no point in us trying to continue to live or build a physical society. We have to be building digital. That's where we're going in our future. A lot of them are still in pilot phases, but you'll see more and more of it coming out. That's why the tokenization of property now is in a pilot phase. But it is, again, something absolutely incredible coming up. Future-oriented, how we think about everything.
True. So when you talk about tokenization of real estate, how you think that's going to affect the economy here? Because, yeah, of course, everybody's just saying it's like we discussed, it's only fractional ownership, but there are more implications to it.
100%. It did grow from the concept of fractional, but it is not fractional. So fractional is where you come to one particular company, and there are some very good companies doing it, and they permit you to actually own percentages within the unit. The same concept has been applied, but it is now global. Firstly, it is on blockchain, and it is through tokenization, so only digital currencies. So while most people have understood that now as a result of this, anyone and everyone can buy property, but they have to use tokenization. You cannot use fiat currency. Fiat currency is where you're paying through a credit card, a bank transfer, a check, etc. So you have to now move into digital currencies, tokenization. So yes, this does open an opportunity for everybody in the world. But there's a lot more to that. The first thing is, if I had to invest now and I was taking a part of a unit, I will still enjoy the same benefits and returns like a person who has an exclusive unit to themselves. Because when the units are completed and they are out in the market, they appreciate the same way. So whether I've put 2 million or 10 million in a unit, or I've put only 200,000 in a unit, proportionate to my investment, I am going to get the same 15% or 12% that I'm going to make. So I don't lose out in any way because I come in at a smaller point, which is something good. Typically in traditional real estate, when you have a small investment and someone goes with a bulk, they earn more. Here, that's not going to happen, because through the tokenization, everybody will get the opportunity to have an equal share in the earning. But it goes even beyond that. You see, as a city today with aggressive economic agendas, we need aggressive real estate developments. Infrastructure has to grow, but that brings an inherent risk with it. It means we have to be able to find people around the planet ready to put that kind of money into our real estate.
Yes.
Now, at some point, the millionaires and the billionaires of the world are going to reach saturation. How much can we expect only from them? Which means I need to create models where I go to the much larger market, which is probably about 200 times the size of the millionaires and the billionaires, but I come in with a smaller entry model, but I now access the funding from there. So tokenization becomes a medium through which I can now access fund channels which I could have never accessed before, because the entry point may have been a 2 million or a 3 million. So I can now create a much larger amount of value because I'm just using a different model. An advantage for us. Again, let's say I'm a developer. I know that the health of my escrow account, the liquidity of the account, is very important for me to ensure on-time completion, complying with my original designs, and actually promising the same quality.
Yeah.
I might stick to the design, but I might change the door and go for something cheaper, you see, because my escrow is not solid. Why? I haven't been able to sell as much as I thought I could actually sell. But now suddenly with tokenization, I have the opportunity where I can still work with exclusive owners who want to have the unit, but I can now bring in a few of those units into tokenization. I could put 30%, 40% into tokenization, and those will disappear because I now have the whole world who will invest in it. So, but that money is still coming into my escrow. So I can create a solid escrow, which means I can get more aggressive with my future projects because I now have a cash model that will help me. And I can deliver on time, which in turn brings more confidence into the market, and more people will want to buy in the future. So there's multiple benefits for me from that, just for me as a developer. Maybe I'm a new developer. When I'm a new developer, I don't yet have the legacy of the big boys in town. So I may come with something that's really, really good, but I have to compete against the others. So typically what happens is when they launch and I'm in the market, their units move first. Then only people pay attention to mine. So I lose a large portion of the market to them, and then I have to work with the leftovers, so to speak.
Yeah.
All respect to those buyers, right? That's what I get. But now I can create another one. So even if I'm new, I can open up so people can come in with less risk. If I have to put 2 million and you're a new developer, I don't want to take that risk, but I could take that risk with 100,000. So it is going to help in so many different ways. Another way it's going to help, and it's absolutely crazy. how this is going to take real estate into the future. This is real estate 2.0 that's showed up. If you look at our communities today, they've also changed in nature. They're getting more complex. They're getting larger. They're getting into mini cities. We're making them smart cities, self-contained. But those kind of cities need a lot of investment in infrastructure. There's a heavy amount to be put in. We're putting beaches in the desert. We're putting malls in there. We're putting parks and golf courses. Those cost money. It also takes away from the percentage of area that I can develop for the actual real estate. So that would mean now, for me to make enough money for the community, my selling prices are going up on lesser inventory, which again means I go to a smaller niche part in the market. So it becomes a bit of a challenge for me. So as a developer, I have to carefully balance between finding a market that can give me the money, creating a community that is world-class and futuristic, and having the ability to deliver it because I will have cash. So I'm in that situation. So now what happens with tokenization, I can actually access a whole lot more money that will come in. So my infrastructure can be ready faster. If you look at many communities in Dubai, they're big communities. They will take anything between 10 to 15 years to complete. But the community is started with smaller launches. So there could be inventory coming out 3 years later.
Yeah.
But the lakes are not ready. The lagoons are not ready. The mall hasn't come up yet. The golf course is still going to take 3 years to come. Where is the school in the community? So what can end up happening is investors who came in early might not find it easy to exit in 3 years because the homeowner who wants to buy doesn't find the community attractive yet. So negotiation leverage moves to them. Even if I have to rent it, I will not probably get the right yield because the lifestyle is not ready yet. So this is a serious challenge that is faced by many of the developers. That is the reason why, if you go to some of our older developments, there are still plots being completed. They were launched 18 years ago, 20 years ago, and still happening. Some communities, big ones, have only got 20% built. So with this now, we can create a lot more money coming in. Therefore, when we build our infrastructures quicker, there will be more demand on buying in the secondary markets when our homes are ready. Investors will come in for off-plan with confidence because they do know within the next 3 to 4 years, a lot of the master community will be developed because the cash will come through these tokenization projects being sold. One more advantage. There's just so much.
Wow.
Okay, let's say I am a typical I have cash, okay? But I have been only buying in the range of the 1 millions, 2 millions, because that was what I could afford. I could never get into the $10 million homes. I could never get into super exclusive penthouses or beachfront properties because I didn't have that. Now there is a possibility for me that some of the developers, when they are creating these communities, they would keep some for exclusivity and the others could be opened out through the tokenization model just to ensure that we can get the funds in to make sure we can deliver with the same quality on time. So there is a possibility now that even for me, I still continue at where I am, but I can scale up and have an elevated investment experience now by tokenizing into some of those. There's just so much. And this is all what we already understand with just the launch of the pilot phase. 2 developers are already in it. Damac has announced in January, and Damac honestly has been one of the most proactive developers ever since I know them from 2006. They're always ahead of the market. 2-3 steps ahead. You have to credit Hussein and his team for that. They do an amazing job of always being ahead of it. Jan this year, even before we have announced the tokenization, they have announced $1 billion worth of property will be coming out in the tokenized format this year in Dubai. And they're going to be doing it on a platform called Mantra, which is from India. From 2007, they've been in the business. You have MAG, who have already done $500 million worth of property from July of last year in Ketura Reserve. So they looked at the Maidan area and they looked at Dubai Creekside. So they have also gone with Mantra, the same platform. And so you're going to see more and more of these developers coming in now because they'll immediately recognize the value of accessing money through this. So I think any developer who does not get into this model is going to lose out. That's for sure in the future.
Yeah, that's right. I think adoption is going to be smooth.
Absolutely.
Especially after hearing all the benefits from you.
Yeah, and I mean, look at how it's being monitored.
Yeah.
DLD is monitoring the asset side of the business, right?
Yes, it's very regulated.
Yes, it's regulated. So that those units which are registered for tokenization cannot be sold in any other form.
Yes.
VARA, Virtual Asset Regulatory Authority, is going to monitor the entire process to ensure there's no fraud,
Tokenization.
transparency.
Yeah.
You have the DFF, the
Yeah.
Dubai Future Foundation, monitoring this first phase so that they can expand it into the future. And you've got the platforms itself which are being chosen, are chosen for their credibility and for their own internal checks and balances. We're not just going to bring any and every platform or any and every type of currency. So the currency has been vetted. Those platforms have been vetted. We have VARA who's going to take care of it. The physical asset monitored by DLD. And you have DFF closely looking at this to expand it into a full market model in the future. I think the future is very bright for us in real estate.
In real estate. Yeah, and especially in terms of the areas which are now becoming the hub, you also touch upon Dubai South, and Dubai South being all the commercial activity. I think the plan is to move all the commercial activity to Dubai South. How do you see Dubai South as growing? Because I'm personally very convinced with Expo. So I'm not sure about the entire Dubai South, so I'd like your opinion on it.
Okay. Dubai South actually is part of the grand vision, that Urban Master Plan 2040. We are looking at part of that. We put the biggest airport in the world in that area for a reason. The world's biggest logistics corridor is coming up in that region. We now have the Expo City where a 10 billion dirham expansion plan is going on. We have part of that Expo City is Expo Downtown is being developed. Yes. Expo Business is being developed for startup companies. They would be on innovation technology, dormitory style accommodations. That's all coming up in that area. Besides, of course, you have the Expo South, Expo Hills. There's a lot coming in that area. We're going to have the convention center, which is getting its own upgrade for global conferences to happen there. That's the reason why you're seeing a lot of the big developers going with master communities into that area. You have the 168 square kilometers coming up for industry and production area. You got the Yiwu Chinese markets, the trader market, which has already been opened. $3.5 billion has been put by the Chinese premier in one single market, 60 million square foot market on a 20 million built up, plot area. Across the road is...
Governments are investing.
Sorry?
Governments are investing.
Yeah, actually, let's put that number in perspective, just to understand. When you say 3.5 billion, it sounds big. We know that, yeah? But how big is it really? This was announced about 5 years ago. It's not new. I think it was just post-COVID or just at that time it got announced. If you look at the Burj Khalifa, the tallest building in the world, the cost of construction was $1.5 billion. I'm talking 2010. But the cost of construction of the tallest tower in the world was $1.5 billion. The new tallest tower coming up in Creek Harbor, design has been changed, but that was projected at $1 billion because it was just a tower, no inventory in there. So if I take the tallest tower in the world, the Burj Khalifa, I take the next tallest tower in the world, and I add a third tallest tower in the world, that much money the Chinese premier has put in one market in Dubai South. I always tell my clients, Mr. Investor, the president of the fastest growing economy in the world for the last 17 years before COVID is telling you should be in Dubai. And he chose Dubai South. Why? Opposite the road is Jebel Ali Port. Gate number 5, the 4th busiest port in the world. Yeah. Emirates is moving all its logistics cargo operations
already,
there.
I think
Already. So we are having the world's biggest logistics corridor in there. We're seeing multinational companies are moving there. One company I can give as an example is NG. They are one of the top 3 or maybe top 5 energy companies in the world. They build nuclear power plants and things like that. French-Belgian owned company. They've always been on Sheikh Zayed Road, Business Central Towers. They have moved their head offices into Dubai South. And you're seeing more and more companies going in there. DP World has moved their head offices there. You're also going to see the future, because you're talking 15 to 20 years in the future. That entire area is going to be classified as a city by itself. You have also elite lifestyles coming up in that area. That's why Emaar has gone with mega community. Emaar South was always there, and then 3 major communities are coming up in that area. Damak has gone in there as well. You also have across the road Palm Jebel Ali, which is coming up. You also have got the Jebel Ali Hills in that area. This is really important for people to understand. At the moment, because there is a lot of commercial activity where companies are setting up, you're seeing a lot of affordable type of accommodation also coming up in that area. But there is a lot of luxury coming in that area. Why is it called Dubai South? Not because it's in the south of Dubai. We don't call this Dubai North, do we?
Yeah.
There is no Dubai East. It is not called Dubai South because, and this is really important for people to understand. If you look across the world, some of the most premium lifestyle areas have always been in the south of those cities. Look at Miami, South Beach. You go to South London. Look at South Mumbai. This is where you have the billionaires and the millionaires. In South London is where you have all the art galleries and the gastronomic restaurants, the fine dining and those theaters. It's all there. So the Dubai South is going to be the next level of lifestyle that is going to be coming up, not because it's in the south. It just happened to be in the south. That's why it is called Dubai South. But it is, I think, for a much larger vision that it's being called that way.
Interesting.
And you'll actually notice, see, that's the beauty of Dubai. Every city in the world has got one downtown. Just one downtown. That's it. Toronto has one downtown. Yeah, Mumbai has got just one downtown. Dubai will have 3. We already have the downtown that we have now. The Creek Harbour will have the next downtown, and you have Expo downtown. This is trying just to show you how grand our plans are into the future and how we are going to decentralize, because we are going to have 5.15 million new people coming in the next 16 years. We have a 70% growth rate in just the next 9 years, and we got a 120% growth rate coming in 16 years. So we are not going to bring them and crowd them into our cities like most of the others have done. We are diversifying. We are going all over the place for that to happen. Cognitive City is going to come up next to Dubai Land Residential Complex, and you are going to see a huge number of people living in that place. 16% of the population of Dubai is now going to be living in Dubai South.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the future is extremely bright. And commercial, yes, absolutely. When logistics is there, a port is there, an airport is there, industrial zone is there, why wouldn't you be there? And it's a free zone.
And when the government's investing, you tend to investors feel secured, right?
Yes, and it's a free zone.
It's a free zone,
Dubai South.
yes,
So which is to allow the best companies in the world to come in and have 100% ownership and your tax benefits.
Yes. Beautiful. As much as I would like to carry this conversation to another 1 hour, she's already shown me the sign that time's up for the video. So yeah, thank you so much for coming and enlightening. Lastly, I want to ask you, this is my personal question. I always thought somebody who's like an ambassador of Dubai, I want to know wherein all your investments are diversified and parked. Okay. Out of personal
I know, it's a great question. I usually don't answer those questions for 2 reasons. Because tomorrow someone watching is going to say, okay, Dr. Anand has gone into that area, let me go into that area.
Yes.
And then I'm going to have some developer call me up and say, you just threw us under the bus. Why didn't you say Dubai Islands? So you see...
okay, we can diversify real estate, gold, shares, markets.
Shares, definitely.
Percentage.
Bitcoin will be there. Real estate is definitely there. Done in Dubai, done in India, have interest in 2-3 other places. Okay. But at the moment, right now, that's only where I have done my investment. Obviously, being part of real estate, I did a lot of it in real estate. But future technologies, 100% I'm getting into that. I don't want to be left out.
Yes.
In that. Gold, yes, makes sense. Gold always makes sense. And gold is doing extremely well right now. But I think technology is going to overtake gold. It's technology is going to... See, gold will get replaced. Just like it's a natural resource, like oil.
Yes.
Okay. Oil at one time was king because it's limited in capacity. So is gold. But we have technology today where we can create our own in the future. We're creating our diamonds today. So while it is there now because there is no second or third options to keep. But I don't honestly think in the future, I don't have a source for this one, for once. Okay, but I do know if I look at the history of the world, what was considered untouchable, immovable, have all been replaced. Yeah. The same is going to happen with oil as well as gold.
Yes.
So future technologies is the place to go.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Dr. Anand. Thank you for coming on the show and what the wonderful, insightful session we had with you. It was actually my pleasure and one of the best podcasts that I've hosted. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.